You started?
Yeah.
All right, this lab is fairly simple to set up. So if you look at it in a very simplistic way, this little cylindrical piece inside is a little oven. So what we'll do is we want to heat that oven to boil off electrons, and then we'll set up an accelerating voltage across it. And that's how we get the electrons to be accelerated. So the thing we have to be careful of as we do this is we don't want to heat the oven too much or it will burn it out. So I'm going to show you some steps that we'll do to be able to heat this oven at the proper amount to get a nice clear signal but not burn these out. So first off, the heating of the oven is done using this Variac. And so you'll notice we have it at 0 volts to start out with, and we'll want to keep it there as we turn it on because it has a little bit of a spike in voltage when it turns on. So we'll turn that on and it's at 0 volts. We'll leave that there for a little bit and I'll show you some other parts. So later we'll use this power supply which adjusts the current through these coils, and that'll allow us to bend the electron beam. But before we do that, we're going to mess with this accelerating voltage, and this is just a little HP power supply. I've plugged it into the wall. We'll turn that on, and we're going to want to set this to somewhere around, say, 20 volts to start out with. Now that we have that Variac on, we can turn on this filament power supply, and then we'll adjust that Variac up to right around 100 volts. And now we need to turn off the light. So notice here, as we turn off the light, you can see a glow coming from this oven. That's because it's heating. When we look to see if we have electrons coming out, we'll want to look from above. If we look down from above, we'll have a better ability to see the signal. Can you see that there? Or not yet?
Not yet.
Probably not yet, yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is slowly adjust up the voltage. I don't want to exceed, really I want to be in the 110 to 120 range, but I don't want to go up any higher than I have to. And so I'm going to start to adjust that voltage up. You should see like a little green glow start to come out. Looks like there's a green glow, but it's just not coming too far out currently.
There it goes.
So now I turn up the accelerating voltage and you notice that gets longer or shorter if I turn it down. So we're starting at the kind of the low voltage at the 20 volt range because we want to make sure that we can accelerate this electron beam even at lower voltages. And so I'm going to turn this up a little more to boil off some extra electrons. I'm at about 115. Is that very long now?
No, it's still little.
Still a little?
No, there we go.
Okay, so now on this one, I'm at 120. And we're able to get these out. Now notice these electrons, as they come out, they're hitting the glass and then they're bouncing. Okay, so the other thing is, on this one, they're directed up a little bit. We'll want to make sure that they're directed horizontal to the ground with no vertical component to their acceleration. Okay, so now we have that on. Now we'll want to turn on the the coils to make a magnetic field. And notice how they're going the wrong way. They're curving in this direction towards the wrong side. So I'm just going to swap these. So just swapping the direction of the, and now we have here full loop, which is good. So as I turn the voltage down on this, coil, then I can decrease the magnetic field and I can get that beam to make a full loop out to these other pins. And so as long as I can still see the beam when it gets out to this, say, 4th pin, 5th pin is good, but as long as I can still see a nice circle, then I have enough voltage. And I'm going to actually turn this voltage down just a little bit, because when we're in normal operation, then a normal operation, after some warming, it'll behave better than it did right initially when we turned it on. So I'm going to leave this at about 115, maybe a little above, maybe 116, and that should be good.